All right, here we go. Welcome back to the Game Smash Podcast. As always, I'm your host, William Liberty, and with me is...
Boaz Muhammad Yusuf.
And today we got some stuff. We got New Titan in Titanfall 2. We got Darkest Dungeon DLC. We got Castlevania Netflix series trailer. We got Monster Hunter Double Cross coming to the Switch. We got Nier Automata surpassing expectations. And then finally, we got a big old Far Cry 5 reveal. Before we get into that, let's talk about what we played this week. I kept trucking through Persona 5, and I ended up playing a lot of, not really a video game, but I ended up playing a bunch of Magic, because I've been getting back into it recently. And it's been pretty fun. I like the new set that got released recently, and it's all Egyptian themed, so it's all cool, Egyptian gods and stuff like that. So I like the theming of the new set. And I have a friend who's actually, a new friend who's a professional player. Like, he's gone to tournaments. He's won, won in very high-end tournaments and stuff like that. So he's giving me a lot of pointers. He helped me. He gave me a bunch of cards. He said, hey, listen, just take these cards, try and make this work for your deck. And he's giving me a lot of useful pointers because I'm notoriously bad at deck building overall in these kinds of games, so him giving me a couple of pointers was very, very useful. So I just played a bunch of that, and I kept practicing some more in Binding of Isaac. Didn't really have a whole lot of time this week to play, to be honest, but that's basically what I played this week. What about you, Fawaz?
So I primarily, Gwent finally hit open beta.
Yeah. Nice.
Finally came to the PS4, so I got on that. I was messing around with it. It's pretty fun. They made some changes. First of all, because every single race has 3 different leaders, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the closed beta, you had to craft the leaders or get them in packs. But in this, there are just challenges you can do, and if you complete the challenges, you get all the leaders for free, and you also get a decent amount of ore. So that's pretty cool. I got the 3 leaders, and then I also got enough ore to buy 12 kegs. Then I finally bought a bunch of kegs because I was like, the PS4 is where I'm going to be playing this game. So,
okay.
So yeah, so all in all, it's definitely looking like the very, very free to play friendly model from the closed beta has gotten even friendlier in the open beta. However, there are some things that bother me. The UI is shit.
Not good for the UI is better on PC than the PS4.
No, the UI is just shit.
Just shit in general.
It's shit on PC. It's shit on the PS4. It really, really, really makes you appreciate Blizzard. For all my criticisms of Hearthstone, for my multiple criticisms of Hearthstone, the one thing I'll never criticize is the UI. The most basic element I can explain is the fact that in Gwent you have the deck builder and then you have your card collection and they're separate. So you have to you go to the main menu and then you go to deck builder and then you sit through it. Brief loading screen, but a loading screen nonetheless. Mm-hmm. You get into the deck builder, you start building the deck, and you're like, oh shit, I don't have Ragnarok for this deck.
Right.
Okay. Back out, go to collection, brief loading screen, craft Ragnarok, back out, brief loading screen, go back to deck builder, put Ragnarok in the deck. It is so backwards. And apparently, because people were complaining because this is stupid, right? And then they posted that apparently the game is just not coded properly, and for them to combine both, it would require them to rework a lot of elements of the code.
They would have to overhaul everything, essentially.
Yeah, so it's not coming anytime soon, if at all. And I'm like, okay, you see, I've done very, very basic programming, so I don't know shit about about programming video games, but I do know that if you did not have the foresight to see that this would be a problem, that's just not a good.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what the excuse is, no matter what the reason it is, if you, as a game designer, did not think when you were coding this that this was going... first of all, the fact that you even needed people to tell you that, okay, we want the collection of the deck builder, and it's just silly in my opinion. But then on top of that, it's just not a good look. And then there's like the fact that accounts aren't linked, right? I have my PC account, I have my PS4 account. I got like 40 free kegs on my PC account that I'm never going to use on my PS4 account, because you can't link them; they're completely separate. And PS4, and I'm assuming the Xbox version, you can't go into player matches yet. You can't play with your friends at all unless you run into them randomly while you're playing online. You can't actually play with your friends. No respect to them with Hearthstone when that launched that. So I'm not gonna criticize them for that. I mean, keep in mind the game is still an open beta, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of, and even little things when you're playing Hearthstone. Did you ever play Hearthstone?
Yeah, I play Hearthstone all the time.
Okay. You know how when you play Hearthstone and you click on the game board and you actually tap the game board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or then there's little interactables on the game. Just those little things. Like I was talking last week about how Lucio's new skin changes the songs, right?
Yeah.
It's the little things that Blizzard does that really, really, for me anyway, it's the little things that really get me. So yeah, shout out to Blizzard for that. Even in Hearthstone, shout out to them for I mean, I didn't stop playing Hearthstone because I didn't like the game. I stopped playing it because I didn't like the balance. And then the other thing is opening kegs, which is the equivalent of card packs. It's so long. It's such a long and arduous process.
It's not snappy.
It's not snappy. In Hearthstone, you just press spacebar, the thing drops in, tap, 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 tap. And I think there's even a button that you can press to just quickly reveal everything. Press spacebar, the pack jumps in, tap, 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 tap. There was this one dude, I was watching his stream, and he had 300 kegs, and he was just like, somebody kill me.
It's actually it's good you point that out, because I think the way loot boxes are done in Overwatch is actually really fantastic. And also kind of nefarious, because with Overwatch they're really fast, right? So you can buy a bunch of loot boxes and just open them, back, bam, 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 like that, right? But the other thing that they do that's a little bit of a psychological manipulation is that there is a frame, whenever there is a small frame of animation, every time you open a loot box that is just pure gold. Every time. So there's always that feeling that you just opened up a legendary, even though it probably wasn't. But that feeling does add a lot, and it makes opening up loot boxes feel really, really awesome. So that really sucks that when you have a trading card game and the process of opening up packs isn't really that enjoyable, because that's an oversight, I think.
Yeah, and then there's other little things here and there. Okay, so they have multiple because they did this cool thing where they created if there's certain cards. There's multiple copies. There's multiple versions of the card, right? So Queen's Guards, for example, there's multiple artworks, is what I mean, right?
Right.
So when you open up a keg, because there's a point in the keg where it gives you a choice between three rares, 3 epics, or 3 legendaries, which is really cool because it avoids having, oh my god, I got my second legendary in $100. Oh shit, it's the same as my first one. Do you know that? Sorry, just a quick aside, because I can't. I always have to go on my little tangents. There's this one card, Lore Walker Cho in Hearthstone. It's one of the worst cards in the entire game. I got 40 packs, and in the 40 packs, I only got 2 legendaries. I got 3 legendaries, one of which I already owned. What was his name again? Shit, I can't remember his name. 7/5 legendary, does 2 damage to everything on the board. Whatever his name was. I got him, and then I got Lore Walker Cho, and then I got Lore Walker Cho again. I was so mad. I was literally was 40 packs. I didn't get any legendary. I got dust. That was all I got. But yeah, so it helps avoid that happening. You open it up, you get 3 legendaries. You get a choice between 3 legendaries, and you're like, okay, I already have Lord Rokacho. I already have I can't remember his name. It's really bothering me. Okay, this guy is new. I'll take him instead, right? So there's that. But then the issue with that, right, is that when it shows that, it tells you how many you have in your collection. But if you get one of the cards that has multiple artworks, it tells you how many of that artwork you have in your collection, not how many of that card.
Oh, okay. So I could see that being a bit confusing. Yeah.
Yeah. Then there's also the issue with premiums, right? Because, okay, say you have a card like Queen's Guard. There's 3 different artworks for Queen's Guard, and then there's 3 different artworks for Queen Guard premiums, right?
Right. That's true. Now, granted, I do like the idea of cards having different artworks.
Yeah, I like it.
Like, because it's like, sometimes, if you're playing a card game over and over again, it gets boring seeing, the same artwork over and over and over again. So that's kind of an interesting idea. I have to give him credit for that.
Yeah, and if you put the three artworks side by side, it creates like a bigger picture, which is pretty cool. If that makes sense.
No. That actually sounds like a really cool concept.
Yeah. Like the Crones, for example. The Crones are the best because they summon each other, right? There's three cards, and if you play one of them, it summons the other two from your deck. Mm-hmm. And if you put them side by side, they're like standing around a giant pot cooking, a person, I'm assuming. But yeah. I'm definitely gonna be playing. I mean, keep in mind these are like nitpicks. The game is still a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's obvious like ridiculous balance issues. We're an open beta. There's still balance issues. They're still trying to figure some things out. Weather is one thing that I feel like is going to bother them for a very long time. They're still trying to figure out the balance. I'm not gonna get into like too much depth because we still have a bunch of stuff to talk about. But yeah, Gwent. Look forward to having a bunch of Gwent videos on the channel. Because I'm probably gonna be slowing down my Overwatch output.
And increasing your Gwent.
What?
Increasing Gwent output?
Yeah. I'm probably going to be slowing down my Overwatch output because that's the other thing I played this week. I messed around with the event and, it was fun, but I literally haven't played ever since. That first day I went, I made a couple of videos, I tried out a couple of modes, and then I literally haven't touched Overwatch ever since. Because the issue is that I don't want to play by myself anymore. I'm tired of playing with incompetent idiots. But then for me to find other people to play with, I have to play.
Yeah, like that's realistically what you're gonna have to. That is the
catch-22, right? I'm like, because I still like the game. Like I was literally watching tournaments yesterday. I still watch like organized matches, but I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I can't play. I got into a game. I can't remember who I picked, and our Zenyatta, he dies the first match. He's our only healer, first of all. He dies like our second engagement, and he switches to Tracer. And then we have no healer. I'm like, all right, I switched to 76. I'm like, I'm going to just heal myself in this corner over here, and the rest of you can die. We lost that game, as you could probably imagine.
I mean, hey, look, if we have time after the podcast, we can play a game together. I mean, I'm always there to be a good Mercy support. I'm always there to help whenever I can. It does depend. I feel like whenever I'm playing Overwatch, it ends up being like I either get a really good run. Like, I'll be playing solo queue and I'll be like, all right, I'm with a really good team. I'm going to stick together with them. And every game is like, pretty good. Or I get the opposite in which it's like, all right, okay, let's see. Oh, great. We've got 4 tanks for some inexplicable reason. All right, cool. That game's a wash. All right. Oh, sweet. We've got a Lucio who doesn't know how to heal. Fantastic. So I feel like it flip-flops between you either get a really good run or you usually get a really bad run.
Yeah.
But I still like that. I still like the event overall, and I want that Genji skin. I want that Super Sentai Genji skin. I was looking up a video. I was looking up a video of his quotes and with the skin on, and I was like, oh my god.
Dude, you don't even play Genji.
I don't care. I want it.
Play DPS.
I don't care. I just want to have the skin because it's awesome.
Oh my god.
But anyway, so you want to get into some news?
Let's get into some news. Speaking of awesome, Respawn continued their awesome support of Titanfall 2, and they introduced a new patch. I forget, the Monarch Reigns update is what it's called.
Yeah.
And it comes with the Monarch, which is a brand new Titan. We haven't seen any gameplay of it yet. Well, we've seen like brief
glimpses, essentially.
Brief glimpses, but so we kind of walk through the abilities. But the description is: a new mid-range Vanguard Titan crashes onto the battlefield. The upgrade core allows pilots to tweak and adapt her over time. So it's a female Titan, improving combat abilities and allowing her to drain power from enemy and allied Titans to boost her shields. That sounds interesting. Apparently that's not worded properly. She can't steal power from her allies. She can't steal energy from her allies. She can only taking energy from her allies doesn't drain her ally shields. I guess is what I'm trying to articulate. So because that would just be bad design. So you should giving people a move that can hurt their teammates is just never never a good idea.
It sounds like more like it's essentially if she's nearby other Titans, she gets a little bit of a boost, like ally Titans. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Then they as a standard at this point, we also got a new map. I think it was where is it? It's not Relic. There we go.
Relic. Yeah.
A new map, Relic, crash site update. I don't know what that means. A new execution. A new weapon. I think. Well, it's not listed here, so no. Don't.
You did two Tone. Two Tone Prime and Ronin Prime were added.
Yeah. So purchasable DLC. We got Prime chassis for Tone and Ronin with brand new executions. They both look badass. So yeah, it's a really solid content update. And honestly, with me taking a bit of a break from Overwatch, maybe this is a time to hop back into Titanfall. Check it out, try out this new Titan. I'd always had it at the back of my mind that when they released a new Titan, because there was that time where they data mined the game and they were like, oh, there's a new Titan coming. So I always had it at the back of my mind that when they released a new Titan, I was going to hop back in, try out the Titan, mess around with the game a little bit. And yeah, maybe now's the time.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I want to jump back to and give it another shot for sure. Especially I want to try the new Titan. I might not buying the Tone Prime model.
It's just money, man. Just money.
What do you mean money? It's like $5.
Tanner's like, yo, I've got all this money just lying around, and I don't know what. How do I hold all this money? That's Tanner's.
It's not like, oh man, I'm like, I was gonna get the $150 edition of Shadow War Mordor or whatever the fuck, but it's like, no, I'm sadly gonna have to get the $120 version. No, that's nonsense. I don't have that much cash.
Yeah, it's not like, I could pay for a year of PlayStation Plus and save myself $50, but I'm Tanner. I'm William Liberty. I have too much money. I don't know what they're doing.
In my defense, I didn't really know that there was that much of a difference. I didn't realize that it's like, I'm gonna be saving $50, and because it's like the idea of me, I'd rather pay like $17 for 3 months because it feels like a smaller purchase than spend $260 all at once. I don't know. I mean, granted, I've never been very smart when it comes to spending money, so just bear that in mind. Anyway, I think the DLC looks pretty cool. I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, speaking of more ways for Tanner to spend his money, Darkest Dungeon, we finally got a release date for the Crimson Court expansion for Darkest Dungeon. It's coming to PC, Mac, and Linux on the 19th of June. And there is no word on we don't have an exact date for when it's coming to the PS4 and the Vita. For those who don't remember, the Vita is a handheld console.
Yes, it's a relic of the past.
Sony develops. It's coming sometime in July. But yeah, right now it's only coming out on PC. It's going to be $10. And it's going to contain a new hero class. They haven't mentioned what the class is, but they described it as a wash in blood and delusion. They bear the burden of 1,000 lifetimes. Whatever that means. A new wandering boss, the Fanatic, a new dungeon region, the Courtyard, a full faction of new deadly foes, 4 new unique courtyard bosses with some of the most complex and devious mechanics yet, because the game isn't hard enough as it is. Yeah. Massive sprawling maps with locked doors, prisoner rooms, and progress saves.
Oh, what is that? That's very interesting.
Okay, because
there's no saving period. Like, there's no save. The game auto-saves, and the fact that there's, saving, dungeons that you can save at, that's very interesting.
That is very interesting. I'm looking forward to hearing more of that. Districts, new prestige buildings that offer permanent estate-wide bonuses. lore-driven trinket sets for all heroes with set bonuses. To commemorate the release date announcement, the developers commissioned an art piece from Leisha Hannigan, which you can check out below. Well, you can't check out.
Well,
below.
you can find it at the official link, but it's a pretty dope piece of artwork. I mean,
yeah, it's honestly, a pretty dope piece of artwork.
all the artwork in this game is phenomenal. Like, if I'm being
perfectly
honest. But as someone who has played Darkest Dungeon, this overall looks really cool and really interesting. The idea of progress saves really fascinates me because the dungeons in Darkest Dungeon are pretty damn big, and like they are a bit tricky to make your way through and survive, because that's the biggest that's part of the challenge. It's not just the enemies that you're fighting, it's surviving till the end, because to complete a dungeon, you have to usually do a set amount of rooms. Like, for example, you have to explore 90% of the rooms in a set dungeon. And a lot of the times you'll get to the point where it's like, all right, I lost 2 party members. I've got two options. I can either retreat and keep what I've got, but my 2 party members that I have still alive, they take huge damage to sanity. Or I can keep trucking along and pray that I skip a bunch of random battles and just explore the rooms. Because there is a strategy in which you every once in a while, if you have a scouting ability, it allows you to kind of scout ahead and see what's in the rooms up ahead. Like, if this room has a random battle, this room has nothing in it. So there's a little semi-strategy in which, if you're really low on resources and your party looks like it's gonna die pretty soon, you want to try and avoid the rooms with the battles and just go to the empty room so that you can just clear the dungeon without a sanity loss. But overall, it looks really cool. I'm really interested in what the new hero class is, because they've been doing a lot of stuff. Well, at least before the game came out, they did so many reworks on a lot of the heroes, because they wanted to make them balanced, but not underpowered or overpowered. Because there were a couple that were just ridiculoly powerful when they launched in the.
Not powerful enough, apparently.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Some people say, "Oh, this character is really, really powerful," and I'm like, it's powerful, but that's not going to prevent you from a really bad roll. It's just gonna happen one day or another. But anyway, I think this looks really, really cool. And if I do have the time, I will come back for sure and jump into this.
You're not going to come back. Remember, you still have to finish The Witcher 2 before our 3-year anniversary in November. So no, you're not going to have the time, Tanner. Let's be real.
I forgot about that one.
Something that I'll definitely have the time for is the new Castlevania Netflix series that we were talking about literally last podcast, and as you shall receive, Netflix gave us a release date, so it's coming in July. I think it's July 19th. One moment, July 7th. So I was off by a week, by 2 weeks. But whatever. No, sorry, ignore. Anyway, moving on. The trailer is amazing. Just to put it simply, there's a really cool nostalgia thing at the beginning where there's an NES and this dude takes an NES cartridge, he blows in it because naturally, sticks it in, and then it loads up, and there's it's like Netflix, but it's
all pixelized,
Pixel, it's 8-bit, and then you see House of Cards and Orange is the New Black, and then he picks Castlevania, and then the trailer itself actually starts. The animation looks cool because I'd never heard of I'd never seen any of the stuff that the studio that was working on this had done, so I was kind of worried that the animation would look like shit. But
it looks solid. I think the animation looks solid. It looks like the best way I would describe it looks like a DC movie quality, or at least around that kind of level of animation.
Yeah. Now the only bad news, and it's minor bad news, is that so it comes on the 7th of July, and it's billed as Castlevania Season 1, Part 1, but it's only 4 episodes. Now it's 30-minute episodes. I was hoping, when I said it was 4, I was like, okay, maybe they're hour-long episodes. No, it's 4 30-minute episodes, so it's 2 hours. Yes, my math was not off there. So that does kind of, if the show ends up being really good, that's going to piss me off because
that definitely for sure. But honestly, I would rather it be 4 quality episodes, and I'd be like, great, next season whenever it comes out, than just like 20 or 30 episodes that are way too long or nothing happens or something like that. So
I completely agree. This is true.
So I'm not too. I could see some people going like, man, I just wanted like a full season, But I still think it's going to be pretty good from what I've seen so far.
It looks good. The trailer looks amazing.
Voice acting too, from what I heard, was pretty solid. It's funny because I recognize one of the voice actors, J.B. Blanc. He's a really, really good voice actor, and he has experience. He has experience voicing characters from another very famous vampire show called Hellsing. So.
Hellsing.
Yeah, so that I'd be very excited if they just grabbed all the Hellsing voice actors and put it into this. I'd be perfectly happy for a reunion like that. But yeah.
You have an ear for voice actors.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's one of my favorite things to do. One of my favorite things to do now is like, it's like, oh, I've heard that voice before. I gotta know. I gotta figure out who this is.
Yeah, I do that too.
It is a blessing and a curse in some ways because
the voice actors do a lot of the same stuff.
Well, it's not even that. It's what happens sometimes is that you get the cool moment. It's like, oh, I know that's J.B. Blanc, or that's Laura Bailey, right? So I'm like, oh, that's really, really cool. But then you get the problem where now if you hear the voice actors in a lot of the work you listen to or play or watch or whatever, you start to just go, oh, that's Laura Bailey, and you don't go, oh, that's the character.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Steve Blum. I always hear
Spike Spiegel or Wolverine or Spike Spiegel. For me,
Wolverine or Spike Spiegel. Yeah, I always hear one of those two when he talks. What's his name? Marcus Phoenix. I always hear Marcus Phoenix or Bender.
Bender. Oh, John DiMaggio.
John DiMaggio. Yeah, it's funny. He voiced Dr. Draken in Kim Possible, and every time he spoke, I just heard Bender.
You just heard Bender. That's true. Although to be fair, I really liked him as the Scotsman in Samurai Jack.
Oh my god!
What?
I didn't know that.
You didn't know he was the Scotsman?
Okay, now, to be fair, I watched those episodes when I was like 13. I didn't know who the hell John DiMaggio was back then.
Yeah, back then, yeah.
So I haven't seen an episode with the Scotsman in over a decade. So in my defense,
all right,
I think that's
here we go. We're setting up the list of voice actors for this Castlevania series. We got J.B. Blanc. We're gonna have John DiMaggio, Laura Bailey. Where Steve Blum's gonna show up at some point.
What's his name? Luke Skywalker.
Oh, Mark Hamill. Oh, okay. I would love if Mark Hamill showed up because Mark Hamill's like creepy evil voice that he does is fantastic to listen to.
To be fair, the voice is very, very it's repetitive because let me put it this way. You heard him as the Joker, right? Then I watched Spider-Man the animated series, and he does the Hobgoblin. And the second I watched it, I was like, that's Mark Hamill doing the Joker voice again. And then I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I hear Fire Lord Ozai speaking, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not Fire Lord Ozai, that's the Joker.
He did, if you want to hear him do something slightly different, he did do a really good job as the Lich in Adventure Time. So, he showed up randomly in that, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing here? But anyway, Castlevania...
Long-winded tangent aside...
I just love talking about voice actors. I don't know. It's a fun thing for me.
I blame myself. I was the one that brought this up.
I could have a whole podcast on like weird voice actor trivia.
Yeah, here's another thing that Tanner can have a whole podcast on. Monster Hunter. Yeah, so it turns out, and I learned this today actually, that this is not Monster Hunter XX, it's Monster Hunter Double Cross, because they're Japanese and this is just what they do.
Yeah, it's Double Cross, yeah.
So yeah, Monster Hunter Double Cross has been announced for the Nintendo Switch. I literally have nothing else to say about this. Take it away.
I will give you some more details, some cooler stuff. Okay, 1. Yeah, this is Double Cross. So for those who don't know, there was a game that came out, a Monster Hunter Generations for the 3DS. This is essentially the special edition version of that. You know, it adds the new rank, a bunch of new monsters for you to fight, new armor, new styles. Because I remember we talked about this earlier. The coolest thing about Generations is that it added the styles mechanic, in which you can choose. All right, do I want to be an aerial character? Do I want to be a a parry character essentially, or do I want to be a charge character? You know, for like the fighting game analogy, I guess would be the best way to describe it, right? So it was a really, really cool mechanic, and I just picked aerial because I love doing air combos all day in Monster Hunter. So I really, really liked that kind of mechanic, and they just added a couple more styles and new stuff, new ways to play the game, which I think is really, really good for Monster Hunter. The really, really cool thing about this is that with this announcement is they talked about a couple things. One, you're going to be able to transfer your save data from Monster Hunter Generations from the 3DS to the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, so that CD Projekt Red?
Yeah. Yeah, you hear that? Wouldn't that be nice? But it's such an awesome thing for them to do that, because now it's like you can transfer your save data from your 3DS to the Nintendo Switch, so you can just go to the end game content right away if you want to. So you don't have to lose all the work that you've done in Generations. You can just transfer your data and go straight into the new rank, which is really, really, really nice. And it allows players who don't want to do the beginning grind over again just to skip to the new stuff, you know? I really appreciate that. And the other thing that's really, really cool is that there will be crossplay between the 3DS and the Switch. So this is great for my friend, right? Because my friend, he doesn't want to get a Switch. He doesn't have the money. So he loves Monster Hunter, right? Now I want the Switch version really badly. So there was this moment where I'm like, well, I'm gonna have the Switch version. He's probably gonna get the 3DS version. We're not gonna be able to play together, and that's not the case anymore. Is that I will actually be able to play with him while he uses the 3DS version, and I use the Switch version. So that's also another really awesome thing because it doesn't split the fan base. It allows people to you could literally have two people with Switch versions and two people with 3DS versions, and we could all play together. It's honestly that part of the trailer made me so happy because I was like, great, I can get my Switch version and I can still play with my friends, which is really, really, really great. The only thing that's a little bit just for people to know, they announced this in Japan, right? So we don't know necessarily if this is going to get a North American release yet. I'm going to say most likely, but I never say absolutely because I got burned with Monster Hunter 2 back in the day, where that never got a Japanese release. But I will say this: it does look similar to what they did with 4 Ultimate, in which they released it. They're releasing it in August this year, right?
Okay.
Now, similar to Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, it came out in September, and then March the next year, the English version came out. So my guess is that if this does come out to North America, it's probably going to come out next year, maybe, or January, February. That's my guess. So it's going to be a while, unfortunately. But honestly, I was so happy to hear this, because the biggest thing the reason why I want Monster Hunter to be on the Switch is so that I can have that, I can just play it on the widescreen. I will have a much better portable screen, because this is something I don't think I've talked about a lot about the 3DS, is that the 3DS screen sucks. It sucks really, really bad. The quality of the picture on the 3DS is not great at all. And in a lot of ways, it makes the games look worse than they actually are. The new 3DS is a little bit better, but not by much. So this is why I like the fact that I can have a really nice looking Monster Hunter on my Switch. So honestly, everything about this made me super happy. Glad to hear it. I don't know if you have any more comments on it, just from hearing what I had to say, but...
Just one little thing actually. And it's something that I read in the comments. One dude, he stated that this is probably a test for Capcom, right? Because Capcom seems to have been losing faith in Monster Hunter on consoles, right? Unlike on non-handhelds, right? So this is probably a test to see how much that it sells, to see how much it sells on consoles, how many consoles it moves, and then they'll, going forward, maybe start releasing more Monster Hunters on consoles versus handhelds. Whereas if this doesn't sell well, then perhaps they're just going to give up on console Monster Hunters in general. How do you feel about that?
I mean, honestly, from that perspective, I totally get where they're coming from. It's essentially like, look, the Monster Hunter, the console versions of Monster Hunter don't sell as well. When it became portable, because it's a good portable game to have. It's a great time sink. It's a great, man, I've got 3 hours to kill. I'm just gonna go hunt. I'm gonna go hunt a bunch of Wraithians or something like that. So I understand them going like, okay, well, people have been asking us for just a full console Monster Hunter, but we don't know if that's going to be necessarily successful. So this is a good way for them to test the waters. Like flat out, I totally get where they're coming from. And the best thing is that, listen, guys, if you buy the Switch version of Monster Hunter Double Cross or Monster Hunter Generations 2 when it comes out to North America, they will see that, and then maybe, just maybe, we'll get a full-blown console Monster Hunter that I've been waiting for God knows how long. So, that's what I got to say.
Perfect.
I think it's a good way to wrap things up.
Mm-hmm.
But our next piece of news is pretty interesting. Nier Automata apparently has surpassed expectations.
Yeah. Tanner's dog apparently has entered his bedroom.
Yeah, okay. So, fun fact, we'll do another tangent while we're at it. Fun fact is my dog likes to sit on my bed and listen to the podcast because he's one of the podcast listeners, essentially. I don't know. I don't know why I don't know if that's actually what he's doing, but he likes sitting on my bed regardless. But what happens is that if anyone makes a single noise in the basement, he will go, "What's that?" and then he'll want outside. But then, like what's happening exactly as I'm talking about it, he'll go, "Oh, it's nothing," and then he'll want to come back. And this will slowly drive me insane after a while.
Okay, moving on back. So this is really good to hear. If you remember, when Nier was coming out, I was worried about it, right? Because I was like that it was coming out. First, it was exclusive to the PS4. I mean, it was on PC too. So it was on PS4 and PC. No Xbox, no Switch. And then it was coming out in a crowded window. I didn't buy it because I literally couldn't afford to buy it. I just bought Neo, which I'm starting to regret actually.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, the game itself is fine, but I switch on my PS4 and I just never want to play it.
Yeah, it's kind of like I guess from you're saying that like the I'm trying to think the attraction to the cool like Japanese Souls type game has kind of lost its luster.
I think part of the issue is that the gameplay just never evolved, and part of this probably banks on the complete lack of enemy variety. So imagine if you were playing Dark Souls 3, and as much as you loved Dark Souls 3, who did we fight in the first area? Okay, no, screw Dark Souls. Imagine if you're playing Bloodborne. As much as you enjoyed Bloodborne for the entirety of the game, you just kept fighting those villagers with their hats and the dogs and the trolls, and that was it.
That was the entire game. Yeah, that would be boring. Yeah.
And I think that's mainly what's killing it for me, because I'm like a solid 10, 15, maybe even 20 hours in, and I'm still fighting the same enemies I was fighting when the game started. So like the core gameplay, I still enjoy it, but I'm just at the point where with every boss I beat, I'm hoping that the game has ended. And once you get to that point, this is not the way forward. So another tangent. But on the flip side, this game apparently, Nier Automata, generating sales quote unquote significantly above the plans. So that's good to hear. It's good to hear. It's good. I mean, Neo sold well too. So it's good to hear games that as much as I'm not enjoying Neo, a lot of people did, and I appreciate the work that was put into the game. I wish they had shaved off like time towards the end of the game and then just put that time into giving us more enemies to kill. But hey, uh, I appreciate the work that was put into both games, and I like seeing games that try relatively different things. I mean, Neo isn't necessarily different; it is a Souls-like, but it's a Souls-like in a relatively unique setting. So, shout outs to them for that, and I'm happy to see them doing well. And then Nier is Nier's it's a platinum game. I love me some platinum games, and I like seeing platinum games sell well. So this is good news.
I like seeing Taro games sell well because I think he's a really interesting developer overall and designer. And
by interesting you mean weird, right?
Well, he's weird, but I appreciate weird over. You know what? It's kind of like how you're saying that you get tired of seeing the same 3 enemies over and over again in Neo. I prefer every once in a while seeing a weird thing show up to surprise me, and Taro likes to do that a lot. And the thing that's bothering me is that like I know that there is some crazy shit in Nier Automata, but I haven't gotten to it yet because I only got to ending A, and I'm just it's bothering me that it's like I just want to see the crazy stuff, but I have to get there myself. But I can tell from like because I watched a full playthrough of Drakengard 3, and it like I said I think part of the reason why they were so surprised that this game sold well is that Taro games don't really sell well. Like, they have really interesting concepts, but their gameplay is usually not the greatest, and they don't sell well because of that.
And they also underestimated the power of waifus.
What, for Drakengard?
No, for Nier, right? They're like, we're going to have this game with waifus in it, but we don't really think it's going to sell well, and then, all the weebs rushed out in flocks.
Well, I mean, like, hey, they got 2B on the front cover. It's meant for something, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, that's good to hear. It's always positive. It's always nice to hear positive news. We report when game companies shut down because of games not selling well. So we felt like it'd be good to report when a game company. When a game exceeds expectations. So shout outs to what's his name?
Yoko Taro and Platinum.
Shout outs to Platinum, shout outs to Square, and shout outs to Nier Automata. Also, shout outs to Ubisoft. Because they just released a trailer for Far Cry 5. And normally I'd be rolling my eyes at the concept of another Far Cry. But this is a very interesting trailer. So first of all, they released a bunch of trailers, in live action trailers to build up hype, and it showed what's the name for these type of areas?
Deep Country.
Sorry.
I want to say Deep Country.
I was gonna say Hicktown, but yeah, let's go with
Deep Country because Hicktown sounds a
little derogatory. Yeah. Redneckistan. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. Anyway, they showed a bunch of live action trailers of deep country areas, and they're pretty cool because for one, there was one where it was panning across this lake, and it's a really, really peaceful lake, and then it keeps panning, and you see a dead body floating across the river. There was another one where it was a wide shot of this tower. It's swooping towards this church, and the bell is ringing, and then as it gets closer to the church, you see that this dude is using another dude's head to ring the bell.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I really like that shot.
Yeah. So I like that it played with expectations, but then they actually released a trailer for it, and yeah, it's the actual not gameplay trailer. It's a whatever. There's a trailer for the game, and it's a really, really interesting setting. So what we've gotten from the trailer is that a group of religious extremists, who aren't Muslims this time, which was a nice twist, whereas Christians, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they're Christian. Well, they're I think they're what's the way to describe it? I can't think of the way to describe it. Let's just say they're really psychotic Christian-based people.
Yeah, really psychotic Christian-based people who've taken over this town, and have pretty much turned it into their own little playground. And they're forcing people to worship. They like come and they take you from your house and stuff. Your protagonist is that you can create your own protagonist, so it's probably going to be a faceless, nameless, voiceless person, which is fine. And then they should have brought a couple of characters. They released like a character trailer for 3 different people who were affected by these religious extremists.
That's the way to describe it. Yeah.
Sorry?
No, I was trying to think of the way to describe them, but yeah, religious extremist is just the best way to describe them.
Yeah, so there was this blonde chick who she used to own this bar, and then a bunch of people got taken away, so she was like building up Molotov cocktails. There was this this black pastor dude who like he opens up the Bible and there's a gun in it, puts on his vest and brings out his shotgun.
He's so fucking cool. Oh my god.
I
love everything about, like, there's something about having a gun in a Bible is the coolest thing in the world to me.
Yeah, and then the last dude was this, he owns like a plane and stuff, and he's talking about how, his dad and his granddad had to fly the plane in the war, and he's going to fly it in his war so that his kids don't have to, and he sticks like a minigun on the plane. So overall it looks pretty cool. Now, there has been a little bit of controversy, as you can probably imagine, because in most big budget games, you rarely ever kill white people. You kill zombies, and because you look at Far Cry, for example, right?
I would disagree with that, because there's a lot. I would think that there's a lot of games in which you kill generic white grunts or soldiers or something like that.
This is true. This is true. Generic white grunts or soldiers, right? But like here you're set in because here's the thing: people got, at the end of the day, whatever the reason is, people got this. There's been some controversy around this because this is a unique setting, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I said religious extremists, the first thing that you would think of is Muslims, right? Because in general, you're killing like people in like Iraq or Afghanistan, where you're dealing with religious extremists. Rarely ever people in America, going around with the Bible, right? So some people were rubbed the wrong way over this. For me, I'm like, whatever. It's not a big deal. Because
I don't really like talking about religion in general. But I will say this, is that people who say that this is an attack on Christianity, it's not. And like there are a lot of people in the comments who are like, look, I'm a Christian, and I know for a fact that this is not meant to represent all Christians. Like, people who are twisting it that way are completely missing the point. This is just a group of crazy people. And the fact that they're Christians is not really, like, it's not meant to mean anything. It's just the setting.
I'm sorry, like, just real quick.
What?
As a Muslim who's had to, like, post that comment, like, a lot.
Yeah.
It's funny hearing that comment.
Hearing that from my side.
Because I'm just like, well, that's just another Tuesday for us. I'm playing Call of Duty and I'm killing Muslims. That's just Tuesday.
But yeah, that's the thing is that, like, I can understand why people would get rubbed the wrong way about this, but it's like I'm assuming that, like, when you play the game, I would be more offended if it was like, if you go into this setting and every single Christian is a crazy guy who just, is like all the crazy people in the trailer,
Yeah.
But if there are just some normal people, like normal Christians, who are just like, oh, we don't like these people and we don't want anything about this, then I'm perfectly fine with the setting in general.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I mean, people just aren't used to it, like, it's different, and I applaud Ubisoft for doing something different. And some people, some people are going to be turned off by it, but that's fine. I've criticized Ubisoft games in general for being trying to appeal to too many tastes.
Right.
Trying to be as inoffensive as possible, and trying to. For me, I'm like, you can't please everybody, right? So you create your message. whatever it is, and if it offends me, that I just won't buy the game, and it really is that simple, right?
Right.
It doesn't have to be a big deal. Not every game has to be for me, and yeah, so I appreciate the fact that they're doing something. They're doing something different. Like they're in terms of the actual gameplay. We haven't seen any gameplay, but
there was actually a little bit of gameplay. They showed off some vehicles. You're clearly going to be able to fly the plane at some point.
Oh shit! I must have missed that.
They showed off this one shot that was pretty hilarious. It was a guy getting chased down by a grizzly bear in the middle of a field.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, that was a gameplay trailer.
Oh.
And they were shooting guns. They were riding dune buggies and stuff like that. So honestly, the thing I find most fascinating about this is that Far Cry, to an outsider, Far Cry must be the most confusing series ever, because like we started in Africa, then we went to the jungle, then we went to India, and now we're in deep country.
Yeah, it's oh, and then there was one with mutants, but we don't talk about that part.
well, okay, to be fair, I love Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. I think that's a fantastic
Oh, no, not Blood Dragon. There was a Far Cry on the original Xbox.
Oh, that one, yeah.
That booty butt cheeks, and we don't talk about that one. But yeah, it's really weird. Far Cry 2, you could get malaria, right?
Yeah. That's so... Oh, Far Cry. Yeah. What a weird series this is, for sure.
What a weird series. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more. Obviously, there's going to be a bunch of this at E3. Oh. So I'm looking forward to seeing like a full-on gameplay walkthrough. I hope because like Ubisoft have mastered the art of making the emptiest open worlds I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Like you have this gigantic open world with a bunch of stuff to do, and you don't want to do any of it. Right? Yeah. So I hope that this, the setting has a lot of character, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that the character that is available in this setting makes for a more interesting open world this time around, because that's one of the reasons why. And it's always the same shit, right? Oh, you have to like liberate different parts of the map, and you gotta climb on these really, really tall structures. It's funny how like almost all their games have those stupid tall structures that you have to like find to like, and then it's just boring. But this looks interesting. This looks very interesting. Like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing more gameplay. I'm like, truth be told, I'm probably gonna end up not buying this game, but like.
Well, you know what I think will be the big deciding factor for me is I'm waiting for the character, the villain. Because the one thing that I think Far Cry has been doing really, really well, in like especially Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4, is they have really interesting villains.
Yeah.
And I want to see who the main villain is in this game, because they kind of hinted that it's like the leader of the religious group.
Yeah.
But you don't really see him in like a full scene. I mean, to be fair, it's going to be hard for them to top Vaas, because Vaas was so good. Vaas was so good that I bought the game solely because of that. Like, one of the trailers that he was in, I was like, okay, I have to get this game because that guy is awesome. So,
I do hope that they don't focus too much on trying to top that, because I feel like that was one of the issues with Far Cry 4. The villain, I forget his name, but it just felt like everybody loved Vaas, and then they're like, okay, we gotta top Vaas. So let's try to make this other, and the villain in that, he just felt like he was trying too hard, if that makes sense.
I know, I get what you're coming from. I still liked him, but he was not as, I wouldn't consider him as good as Vaas. He was kind of more, I liked him because of how ridiculous he was. It was like, let's screw this whole war over India. Let's do some drugs and blow shit up, I kind of like that aspect of him. But yeah, no, he wasn't as good as Vaas, for sure. I would be fine with them trying to do just a different type of villain in general.
Just a different type of villain, yeah. And it definitely seems like that's the case. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but overall, I think they've shown off some pretty interesting stuff overall, and I'm definitely excited to see more. And hopefully we see a little bit more at E3, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely. So yeah, to wrap up, we have our question of the day. Oh, sorry, I stole that from you.
No, keep going.
To wrap up,
we've been kind of stealing each other's topics this podcast, so it's all good.
We have our question of the day from the lovely J Streets.
Shout out to J Streets.
There we go.
There we go. We're getting it. We're getting there. We're getting there.
So J Streets asks, what are some of your favorite tabletop board games you enjoy playing? Feel free to include a funny story from playing one of the games.
You're never gonna live that podcast down.
Apparently not. So do you want to go first or should I go first?
You go first. I'm interested to hear your answer.
Okay. So mine isn't. I don't really play a lot of board games. I played a cliche one. What's that stupid one called? Cards Against Humanity. Like my friends love playing it, so like it's gotten to the point where I'm sick of it. I don't play it anymore. But we used to play it a lot. So anyway, I go with my friends. They would maybe go out to their cottage because real quick, another digression. What is it with North Americans at cottages? It's like, hey, let's just go out to the cottage in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, has no one here seen like any horror movie ever? I'm like,
it's fine. As long as we don't go to Crystal, Crystal Lake, we're fine. Okay.
I'm like, you go out to the middle of nowhere with no cell phone reception. Okay, this is how you disappear. But I digress. Anyway, so we go out to the cottage and we're playing Cards Against Humanity and crap, what was it? So how the game works, for the three of you listening that don't know, one person puts a card down and there's like a statement. So for example, Santa gives blank to naughty kids for Christmas this year.
Yeah.
Everybody has a bunch of cards that are completely unrelated. And then you put down whatever card you want as the answer, and then the judge picks whichever one is funniest or whichever one is best. So, for example, someone can put like golden showers, and then you'd be like, Santa gives golden showers to naughty kids for Christmas, and it's like, hey, everybody has a good laugh. You need to play with people that have the same sixth sense of humor as you, though.
Yeah. It's not really a game for those who don't have like a little bit of a twisted sense of humor.
Yeah. So yeah. That was one of the funniest things for me, was that I played with a couple of my friends, and they're really, really innocent. Like for example, I made a joke about just the tip, and then this one girl is like, what do you mean by that? And I'm like, oh my god, oh no, I made the golden showers joke, and none of them even knew what golden showers were. And she didn't even know.
Oh wow.
And I'm just sitting there like, wow, you guys are like. How old are you people?
Like at that point, it's like I'm like, I don't know if I want to ruin her innocence yet. There's too much.
I'm not going to be the one to tell you, okay? So then I played with another group of friends, and I lost because they never picked any of my cards because they never found my cards funny because they never knew what any of my cards meant. So I was just sitting there and I'm like, I think I'm funny. And then I played with a group of my friends at the cabin, and I won like every single round, right? And I was like, yeah, I am funny. They just don't know. They just don't
get the joke. It's like, what is this?
Exactly. So yeah, that was pretty. It was nice to be vindicated in that sense. But I don't actually play a lot of board games. Now that I'm thinking about it. What about you, Tanner? What you got?
Wow,
you play a lot of board games.
I dived in deep when I played a bunch of different board games. I mean, like the ones that I've played, I've played X-Wing. I've talked a lot about Warhammer 40K. A bunch on this podcast, and but if I really have to pick like my favorite, it'd have to be D&D. It'd have to be the original classic tabletop D&D, because I have too many like amazing stories that I could talk about in D&D, and how we had this one guy who, jumped into a magic circle and basically teleported to chapter 23 while we were in chapter 4, and stuff like that. And it's there's a lot of fun improvising moments that can happen in D&D. It depends on the group. It really depends on the group of people that you have when you're playing D&D. But if you have a really tight-knit group, you all kind of get like, okay, this is how you play the game, this is how you play the game, or whatever, and you can all kind of find a little bit of enjoyment in how the game is played, then you can get a lot of really fun experiences. You can have a lot of really close battles. One of my favorite moments in playing D&D was that one fight in which my character... Sorry?
With the vampire?
Yeah, with the vampire, and me basically flipping the table and letting all hell break loose at the kitchen. or the fight where my character lost two of his understudies, and I had to fight off a guy, and I only had 1 HP, and I somehow made it out of that fight alive. So there's a lot of really great fun, like there was this funny moment, or there was this crazy moment that I can talk about in D&D, that I could go on and on and on. But it really does depend on the group. Like, you really need a good DM and a really tight-knit group. But there's so much fun that can be had with D&D. And I'm glad that I finally went, because if there was a while, I had the stigma where I was like, D&D's, too nerdy for me. Like, I won't do that, whatever. And once I realized what somebody explained to me, dude, D&D is just improvised storytelling. Like, it's basically you're all participants in writing the story. And I absolutely love that concept, and I love doing that kind of I love doing that stuff. And also, the thing I also like about it is that I do like the little metagaming stuff, with like, okay, I'm going to position my guy here so he can, combo into this and stuff like that. Kind of similar to Divinity, Divinity Original Sin, or Dragon Age. There's that little, like, I'm gonna do this move so that my other team member can do his move and it'll be stronger and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of, like, strategy to the battle and whatnot. But overall, I think, if I had to pick my favorite, it would definitely be D&D. There's just too many stories that I could tell you about that just make me smile. But really good question, J Streets. Really, really good. As always. And if you've got a question for us, or if you've got a favorite tabletop game that you would like to list in the comment section, list it there, and we'll make sure to answer your questions in the next podcast. And as always, this is your host, William Liberty, and...
Boaz Muhammad Yusuf.
And we'll see you guys next time. Take care.